You're listening to Arya Whitner's NXT Report on the Angry Marks Podcast Network. If you like what you hear, subscribe to AngryMarks.com, AngryMarks.com on YouTube for more shows from Arya Whitner. You can also subscribe to Arya Whitner's NXT Reports on iTunes using the keyword AngryMarks. And of course, follow Arya on Twitter at TheReallyRealAW. Without further ado, here's Arya's report on NXT TakeOver San Antonio, with Bobby Roode becoming the new WWE NXT World Champion.
You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. My name is Arya Whitner, and this is your NXT audio update for Wednesday, February 1st, 2017. We're already 1/12 of the way through the year, and my God, does it just get faster and faster as you get older and older, huh? Alrighty, so we are still in San Antonio. These are the dark matches from NXT TakeOver San Antonio. This show is the 4 times a year, easily skippable show. You know, after WrestleMania, they do the amazing Raw after WrestleMania that everyone makes sure to watch because it's almost always a crazy spectacle. The first NXT show after a takeover, you literally can skip. Like, nothing happens. You know, they may tease something here or there, but when really the highlight, the absolute highlight of this week's show was a video package, you know that it's a show that you can just move on from. Corey Graves was still here, so this, I guess, is the final night, even though they did imply on TakeOver that Nigel McGuinness would be taking over today, but 7 days to Nigel, I guess. We start things off with the women in the ring, Ember Moon versus Arya. Arya is an unknown babyface to this crowd. She got almost no reaction coming out except for a few people booing her, assuming that she was the heel in this match. Ember, in the highlight, Ember used an abdominal stretch where she pushed Arya's head down further to the point that Arya's body was completely bent over in almost a 90-degree angle. Arya got some offense, just enough to show that she is far from ready for a bigger role than she's in. Ember walked up the ropes with a moonsault press for a 2 count, and then finished off Arya with the Eclipse. They showed video highlights of every match except for the Roderick Strong, Andrade Cien Almas match, and did do promos with almost everybody involved. Basically just quick little 30-second snippets, so you know, I'll note anything that needs to be noted, but basically everybody said that, you know, they won or they lost, it was great, it was horrible, you know, nothing that you really need to hear about. But by the way, watch NXT TakeOver San Antonio on the WWE Network. It was a, you know, good show, and it definitely exceeded expectations. The couple of things in promos I did want to mention, Asuka laughed about the idea of Ember Moon challenging her, asking if Ember actually works here. Ember Moon then cut her own promo, saying that she's happy Asuka won because she wanted to be the one to dethrone Asuka, and then Asuka will know who Ember Moon is. We got a special attraction match, the first appearance of the WWE United Kingdom champion Tyler Bate, one-on-one with Oney Lorcan. I was 13 years old in 1997 when Tyler Bate was born. I feel very old right now. Bate walked to the ring waving to everybody, which if you saw NXT TakeOver San Antonio, when they showed Bate sitting in the crowd, there was this guy behind him mockingly waving at him. That's where it came from, because Bate just waved and waved and waved some more on the way to the ring. This was a solid match that the crowd got into. Bate picked up the win with an airplane spin and then the Tyler Driver 97. Bate did the same thing he did in the tournament, where he did the airplane spin, stopped, teased being too dizzy to continue, and then continued for a few more rotations. Let's see here. I should point out that Cassius Ohno technically made his WWE NXT debut. Cassius Ohno, Chris Hero, whatever you want to call him. After the recap of the NXT title match, they showed Nakamura being helped to the back, and one of the people who checked on him was, in fact, Chris Hero / Cassius Ohno, telling Nakamura that it really sucks. They announced that Bobby Roode would be having a glorious celebration 1 week from tonight on the next episode of NXT. Tom Phillips then wished good luck to Corey Graves, since, as we mentioned, tonight is his last broadcast. And we got the highlight of the show, a video package going over Graves' entire NXT career. It's been, 5 years since they switched from NXT being the joke of a TV show that only I enjoyed to developmental. And, they covered Graves' entire last 5 years, from being in the ring, being tag team champion with Neville, being in that class at NXT with people like Rollins, Ambrose, The New Day, the Wyatt family, etc., to now where he had to retire, stating that the day he had to retire was the worst day of his life. And then, the thrill of coming back and becoming an announcer. And they showed him doing all these different odd jobs as well. When he couldn't wrestle because he was concussed, he would sweep the mats, he would run audio cables, he'd pick out music for the wrestlers. And so, it was a really, really nice and really well done video package. And, check out YouTube, because I'm sure you'll be able to find it on YouTube somewhere. And then Corey Graves' last night, Corey Graves' last match. We couldn't run Eva Marie out there, thank God. Instead, we got the Drifter, which of course caused Graves to flip out, pointing out that this was his last match in NXT. Elias Sampson, by the way, going one-on-one with No Way Jose. Sampson ran across the ring with a drop kick at the start of the match, but Jose took over quickly. Graves consoled himself with the fact that, this was his last night, and he'd never have to deal with Sampson, Tom Phillips, or Percy Watson ever again. But then he was reminded that he still had to deal with Byron Saxton. So anyway, Sampson finally got the heat when he crotched Jose on the top rope. Jose made his comeback, eventually hitting chops, and won with the pop-up punch to the face. So that's it for NXT this week. Like I said, there's nothing to write home about. Nothing terribly exciting about this show. If you watched it, I can't even say you enjoyed yourself. But, next week, I believe they're taping the new NXT shows tonight, Wednesday night. As I'm talking, it's probably Thursday when you're listening to this. But, so next week, we'll start the next round of shows on your way to NXT TakeOver Orlando, which I hope they come up with a better name than that, because, they're in Orlando for every damn show. Anyway, thank you all for listening, and we'll talk again in 7 days.
You're listening to Arya Whitner's NXT Report on the Angry Marks Podcast Network. If you like what you hear, subscribe to AngryMarks.com, AngryMarks.com on YouTube for more shows from Arya Whitner. You can also subscribe to Arya Whitner's NXT Reports on iTunes using the keyword AngryMarks. And of course, follow Arya on Twitter at TheReallyRealAW.
This is Jim Cornette, pro wrestling legend and administrator of JimCornette.com and the Jim Cornette Experience on MLW every week, and you are listening to Angry Marks and all these people that are asking me all these questions that I'm answering with forthrightness and honesty.
You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.